Throughout the community development course, asset mapping was core to everything we were doing, and particularly thinking about your project later on, because it gives a really good grounding on what was available across local communities, what were the strengths out there in the community. I think it was critical, before we moved on to the next phase, and to try and strengthen that, the research element of the programme really embeds, the evidence base. So you're able to bring in that critical thinking and look at where gaps and the needs are. And navigating services was one of the key identified issues. What we wanted to do was, how do we make a meaningful impact and bring, people with lived experience along in this journey with us? So we engaged directly with individuals, families and local community organisations that would be supporting, ethnic minority communities across the Southern Trust area. And what people were saying to us was that no one ever asked them before. And I think that key message, come back time and time again and saying that while research showed and told us all of these things, no one actually went out on the ground and asked individuals what would make a difference. And they said if they knew how to navigate services and systems, it would improve their experience and hopefully improve outcomes. So that was the focus really of our project. We wanted to engage with our staff across different service areas and our community and voluntary sector partners. And what was coming back was the need for training. So we piloted cultural competency training across different staff and cohorts, and we measured the learning outcomes from that. So it really showed that people valued the training, thought it was necessary, that it was easy to understand, but also give them the tools to work more effectively with people from diverse backgrounds. So following on from that project, we were then looking at how do we embed this, because we're looking at a service area that has maybe 15,000 staff, and we were never going to be able to hold face-to-face workshops for everyone. Myself and a couple of colleagues explored the different options that might be available to us, and there was none. It was identified that there was no consistent or standardised programme around cultural competency. There were singular cultural awareness training sessions available for specific groups, but nothing that brought everyone together. We commissioned an independent facilitator to build some content for us, and we worked closely with our colleagues in the equality team, and we started to build the content that was required to meet the learning needs for all the staff and groups. The learning outcomes from the programme really reignited a passion in me in terms of the social work values and principles. The programme really gave you the skills and the tools to be able to look through a different lens and apply radical approaches to complex needs. Well, it really embeds community development in everything that we're doing, from the initial engagement to any planning or workshops. Community development is forming and shaping everything that we do. We're looking at a multimodal approach, and the course provides you with a multitude of tools that you can lean into. People would often refer to marginalised communities as hard to reach, and I find by utilising community development approaches really opens up the pathway and doorways for people. It's about building relationships, which is a core aspect of social work, is relationship-based practice. And community development really enhances that, because without that relationship we can't build the partnership, without the partnership we can't have the leadership, and without that you won't get the social change. And it's about building leaders for the future, but it's also giving people the tools and the resources that they can support themselves as well in the community. This project has leaned into so many other avenues that has expanded the initial project to try to make it sustainable. We have now developed our content build into an e-learning platform, and also the Little Book of Cultural Competence. The e-learning resource is available for all health and social care staff in all sectors, not just in the 5 trusts. And the Little Book of Cultural Competence is a really useful tool and resource that's available across the wider community voluntary sector as well. We aim to run and hold different workshops and engagement programmes around cultural competency to keep the momentum going. The positive outcomes from it has been the relationships and partnerships that have been built across our internal colleagues, but more importantly externally, and with the families and communities that we've worked with and continue to support. I think this course is critical to all social workers, no matter what area you work in, because it provides so much opportunity to promote social work, but in a different way. It gives you the opportunity to embed radical approaches without having to go seek senior management approval about undertaking programme of work or address identified gaps or needs within your service area. I couldn't stress enough the importance for social workers from undergraduate through to postgraduate level to be embedding community development approaches into their day-to-day work.